What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. I hope wherever you're watching this, you're having an awesome day. Last few days have been kind of sucky. Clearly, I'm sure if you had a TV, my dear 49ers lost the Super Bowl in overtime, which is just terrible on so many levels. I was really looking forward to that win, hoping desperately for it because on Friday, I got laid off from my job. I knew it was coming. I knew Friday was the last day. Kind of got a 2 weeks heads up, but still knowing Friday was going to be the absolute last day of this particular job, at least had a little beam of hope, of the green light, if you will, on the horizon. Like, all right, Sunday can turn things around. I'll feel a little bit better Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then really go in hard on this job search thing. But that didn't work out so well. That's why I didn't report this news yesterday. I was in like a terrible state, not quite out of it just yet, but decided to come on here and do a video because Hasbro is always providing this new content for the G.I. Joe Classified Series fan, for you and me. And this time, we got, courtesy of Full Force Podcast, some reveals of one of the most garish subsets in all of G.I. Joe lore. Of course, I'm talking about G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders. These picks are courtesy of his tank. And it looks like we're actually getting these gosh awful designs. Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders. I just don't even understand the original concept of these. Their colors are so amazingly awful. I've never liked these guys whatsoever. At least the color scheme, they're so bad. And we've got what appears to be, and they're, for whatever reason, not calling them Slaughter's Marauders, even though we still have Sergeant Slaughter here. He's still under contract for a little bit longer. I don't know why we needed to rename it, but they're renamed Mad Marauders. Seems a little bit weird. So anyhow, we've got a 2-pack of Low Light and Spirit. They look like they're the exact same figures, just with terrible paint jobs. Sergeant Slaughter is back, and he also comes with a 90-pound weight, which I am pretty sure his original figure did not have. He's got his sunglasses, or glasses again. He's got the hat. So basically everything that we got from that original awesome version of Sergeant Slaughter now comes with terrible colors. And I just can't lie to you. I mean, I am a huge Classified Series fan. Those designs have never ever done anything for me. But I will give Hasbro a massive amount of credit because look over here, over at our friends at 3djoes.com, they got these designs, as terrible and awful as they are, down just fine. I mean, sheesh, look at these colors. I mean, it is a wild combination of colors. And you see on the file card here, we've got Slaughter's Marauders. Slaughter's Marauders lead G.I. Joe's latest land offensive against Cobra, shielded by their camouflage, aka terrible random paint jobs, and armed with the heaviest artillery. The Marauders are prepared to defeat Cobra anywhere in the world. Now, I'm a huge fan of the name Marauders. The X-Men characters and Slaughter's Marauders helped influence me. So my fantasy football team is the Marauders, but wow, man, these colors are so crazy. I mean, what is Sergeant Slaughter even doing? This is like the opposite of camouflage. It is every random color they can patch in here. He's got blue sunglasses, the dark green hat. He's got a blue tank top that matches his sunglasses. That's good coordination. And for whatever reason, the original figure didn't even have the wristbands painted. So it's like some modern thing that you kind of like, this is really cheap, but a little bit surprising because I don't remember Hasbro taking these kind of shortcuts. But anyway, non-painted armbands, wristbands, and dark green pants with a slice of lime in the middle, brown bottoms to the pants, really weird, and black boots. So just a really wacky color scheme and a weird setup. So anyway, here's the whole team. And this is kind of interesting because Hasbro has done pretty solid work in terms of building out factions, but they're almost done with the Marauders. So we know we've got Spirit, and we've already seen Mad Marauder version of Barbecue, also with terrible colors. And got Footloose here, so he's the only one that doesn't have a Classified Series yet. Come on, Hasbro. Let's get on with my man Footloose. One more closer to knocking out Flint's 1985 team. Here's Lowlight. Just, whew, Lowlight has been cursed with some terrible variant outfits. His first one was by far the winner. I don't know what happened where he got the bearded black look, but that was wild. This one's probably just as bad. His original costume was awesome. So there was no improvement on that one. And then Mutton Junkyard, for whatever reason, their colors don't seem as offensive and hideous to me as some of the others, but they all have this green stripe in their pants. And I'm not quite sure what camouflage that means, but it's like somebody at the design shop at Hasbro or the G.I. Joe art department, the design crew for costumes said, yo, we've got too much green, light green lime fabric. Let's incorporate that into some outfits. And the Joes just were nice and went along with it. So we've got most of these guys, which means we can go ahead and get into that. Slaughter's Marauders have a team done. We're going to have 4/5 of the team at this point. So I'm sorry, 4/6, because we haven't seen Mutton Junkyard, but there's no reason whatsoever to believe we won't see a repaint, a repack of Mutton Junkyard with that really soon. And I guess the good thing with that is we will be closer to getting what I thought was a pretty decent Mutton Junkyard variant, that DEO version of them, or the DEF, I think that's what they called it in G.I. Joe. And those looks for them kind of made sense. So we're one step closer from them. All these variants of the Joes is kind of wild. So it's which one we're going to get next. So that team was not one that I thought, that wasn't one I had on my bingo card. I thought Night Force would be completed sooner, but there we go. We're almost done. As you see here on yojo.com. Footloose version 2, Lowlight version 2, Barbecue V2, Mutt V2, Sergeant Slaughter version 4. He had a lot. And Spirit V2. So close to knocking these guys out. It's really wild. I'm surprised they're so close. And clearly that means we got to get Footloose announced, revealed soon. Now, there was that deal where Entertainment Earth popped up a new, hey, we've got some stuff coming, and more G.I. Joe pre-orders in the drop zone. So I am probably thinking now that might be what we're going to see, since we saw package photos of these guys. So I think this is on Leap Day. Leap Day, February 29th. We'd love to give you a clue about what we're launching on Leap Day, but we're told that it's classified. You should sign up for reminders so you'll be first to know when these are up as soon as they go for sale. So that looks like, sorry about that. Yeah, I would assume we're going to see these repaints coming for pre-order on the 29th. So be on the lookout for them. Those of you who have been collecting or into Sergeant Slaughter and the Mad Marauders. Of course, this means that our the one existing character in this whole setup, the one that is actually available for people to pick up, might actually be more in line for people to be invested and care about collecting them now. And that is Mad Marauders Barbecue. This one was very plentiful at Ross and all the stores that were on a super major discount during Christmas. Now he's a little bit more expensive. He's $14.25, still better than paying $25 for him, but that's not bad. So you can still get him. And I think for a lot of people, it's, well, if you're not going to go that much further into Marauders, I don't need to get this variant of Barbecue. But now seeing he's going to be joined by 3 teammates, Mutton Junkyard clearly are going to be coming, and Footloose is just inevitable. I'd assume in this case, we're going to see Footloose in his Marauders attire. And then we'll get the classic repainted version, because Hasbro and their G.I. Joe Classified Series team has done that from time to time with characters like Rakondo, Bazooka. So we've seen that. Big Ben. That's not outside the norm of what they're going to do. So yeah, here you go. So we can get Barbecue right now if you didn't get them by any fortunate at Ross when they had them for $5.99, a really great price. And I think people are going to be like, oh man, I missed out on my chance to get them. But the other kind of interesting thing with this, and here's some more high-res shots of this team courtesy of Hakes.com, is here you go. You get the full look of these guys on card. These colors are wild to me, but that's a really good look. in terms of the card art and what we've got going on with these guys in terms of what these figures are going to look like. It's wild stuff. But anyway, so we've got them coming. But as a result of getting Slaughter's Marauders done and the tease of Naugahyde, we already have Metalhead. We've got pretty much all of Python Patrol. Now we're getting really close to completing something I did not anticipate being a priority for the Classified Series team. And that, of course, is Operation Dragonfire. And if you're a fan of, you know, like old school G.I. Joe, you might not be a big time fan of Operation Dragonfire, but for me, it's kind of essential viewing because it fixes things, it rights some of the wrongs from G.I. Joe the movie. I didn't hate the movie, of course, but there was one particular thing I hated, that my boy Cobra Commander got turfed out, turned into a snake, and that was it. This one kind of fixes him, restores him to a mostly man. So now he's back to being a man. No need to help. No need to get help from Roadblock in terms of walking around. He can do it himself. Got his armor. I'm just like, well, she's how far away are they from having a completed Operation Dragonfire? There are a couple of Vipers backgrounds that I'm not really putting on this list, but I thought, hey, we're getting really close. Who's left? And I was surprised, of course, because it's really not that many characters. And this was the lineup from 1989, essentially. So it was one of those, okay. And it was really ironic because they actually benefited as opposed to the G.I. Joe the movie characters in the sense of, hey, we're all good. We don't need to worry about any funny stuff. We've got the whole lineup of characters right here for you. So they benefited because they had a cartoon miniseries to break all of them down. Let's take a look at the 1989 characters and where we are in terms of getting them completed for Operation Dragonfire. Of course, we got the Alley Viper. He's done, covered. He was prominently featured in there, and one was a Crimson Guard turned Alley Viper, best friend of Scoop, and was really in the mix with everything. The Frag Viper shows up in the background. The Heat Viper is also in the background, but Naugahyde, we've got him, and he looks awesome. Night Viper, also awesome looking character. We got Rock and Roll version 2. Now, he is a major one. To me, you're not going to see a better updated version of a Joe than Rock and Roll. Like, this is one of the absolute best versions, the best updates to a Joe character. Rock and Roll just, I mean, his weapon is crazy and wild, but I think this look works for him. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing this one. This is one of the few kind of updates that I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So hopefully we'll get him soon. Then, of course, I've already mentioned him. Scoop is another key character in this because he is the G.I. Joe mole or infiltrator for Cobra. And midway through, he's like, you know what? Kind of like hanging out with these Joes. I like what they're about. And Scoop is one that I kind of think is interesting because he can kind of play on that psych out sneak peek thing where he's providing information. So I'm imagining Scoop re-envision a little bit as the, you know, social media guy for the Joe team and putting stuff out on Joe Twitter and TikTok and making sure everybody knows all the good things and good news that they're doing. And hey, here's Roadblock cooking a meal at the Boys and Girls Club. So I mean, I can just see him doing that kind of stuff and being a fun Joe. You know, of course, he's going to dish that massive TV camera that he's rocking. Maybe just have like a cell phone or one of those handheld deals that you see professional streamers when they go out to do video interviews at conventions or whatever. That could be something the Scoop could have. So I'm kind of interested to see what they would do with him. And I think he'd be a really cool modern update, you know, keeping the outfit. The outfit's cool. You can keep that. He's just a case where the gear is the only thing that really needs to be different. So got Rock and Roll, got Scoop in the lineup. And, you know, if you want to be like, hey, we got to get these Vipers in here, get them in there as well. And then the other really main character that's not a version of the Marauders, another really good updated version of a figure is Stalker in his Arctic or Tundra Ranger outfit. And I've mentioned him already with this big kayak deal he's got. And I love and how in Operation Dragonfire they actually managed to make use of this. So there's a moment where he's in a little ravine and he's got the kayak and he's shooting away, blasting at the alley viper. Pretty cool scene. I feel like that was one. If they had the Sunbow animation, people would love it. And maybe that's something where these amazing YouTubers and content creators who can do all kinds of stuff like that, amazing recreation of Revenge of the Sith, big final battle, and doing it in the Clone Wars style. Maybe just throw it out there. They could do a video, Operation Dragonfire, with the animation for the Sunbow, because I think everything's solid. But man, that'd be cool. Long tangent aside, Stalker is definitely an updated version of a character that I think would be a great figure, and they will really knock out and do an amazing job with. So hopefully we'll see this one soon enough. I feel like he's going to be a no-brainer. I mean, they love repaints, and this is a pretty cool alternate look for Stalker. So definitely not something where it's like, you guys went with this look. So that's definitely one that I can see them doing. And then the other two, I mean, these are very obvious. I've already talked about them before, so you know where I'm going to go with this. It's not like, oh man, I can't believe you mentioned these. So let's see here. Let me pull them up. I can't believe I actually missed him. Oh, that's right. He was not from this era. He was in the previous year, and one that we're getting really close. Sorry, not even that one, 87. We're so close to getting this lineup done and knocked out. There's another one, but he is absolutely an essential character that we need. Cobra Commander in his battle armor, because the movie took place right at the same time. They couldn't make him a snake and then transform him back into this battle armor gear until afterwards. So it took a little while, but we finally got this look. This came out the same year that Falcon, Crazy Legs, Law and Order, Chuckles, Outback, Jinx, etc. But they couldn't work it into the movie because they decided to go the Corporal Law route. Anyway, this is for sure absolutely a major requirement if you're going to knock out Operation Dragonfire. And we're almost done with the key characters, and there's just one more. And he's necessary, but I don't know if he is the biggest need to do this, but we do kind of need him anyway. And that, of course, is Destro in his Iron Grenadier leader outfit, and Destro and his despoiler. I feel like this is something that would come pretty easily with the Serpentor setup, where we got a figure in a little chariot slash deal, and he's all set. I did think it was interesting looking at this box that is titled Battle Force 2000. So was Destro and the Iron Grenadier supposed to fight Battle Force 2000 all that time? I've got to find some backstory on this because that's kind of interesting. Of course, no longer Cobra the enemy, it's Iron Grenadiers the enemy. And this is where things get a little interesting on that front. But I think we're going to see this soon. We're starting to get Iron Grenadiers already anyway, so that makes sense. But Operation Dragonfire is really getting close to getting completed. There's, what was my count here in terms of speaking roles of major characters? Footloose, Stalker, Rock and Roll, pivotal character, Destro, Scoop, the Cobra Commander. Still 6 characters left to get that completed, which is kind of wild. So all these other mini-series, they've got a lot more characters to finish. I don't know if we'll ever see Admiral Ledger, but so many more characters. General Sharp, for Revenge of Cobra, a lot of characters that are still out there. But Operation Dragonfire, 6 figures away from being done. And regardless of your fan appreciation for it, that's kind of cool that they're getting that done. I still think I'm just going to go with regular colors for all the Slaughters, Marauders. I'll have Low Light, Mud Junkyard, and Spirit hanging out, but they're in Barbecue. They're not going to be in those colors, though. So that'd be kind of fun to actually have that team together, and pull them all together, and have this in action. And maybe they could do a Baroness repaint. We've seen the Super 7 Ultimates Wave 5 do that, so maybe that's another option. And just because I mentioned it real fast, let's pull it up, because they actually included the big antler deal that she's got as part of that, which was really weird. They were doing some wacky stuff with G.I. Joe. Not shocking, not surprising. But yeah, here it is. Courtesy of our friends over at Entertainment Earth. This is the whole deal, and she is totally in her gear. So if we don't get this, at least we get all those accessories. Cobra Commander, meet him in his snake form. The antler mask, I feel like that's probably going to look oversized on a classified series figure, but in this case, that kind of makes sense and would work. And so there you go. So I'm kind of thinking that would be a fun addition as well. Anyway, that's it for Operation Dragonfire. I don't know what we're going to be doing Lau's Movie Files because tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Maybe I'll do a special Thursday where we lead off with Lau's Movie Files and then go right into Lau's Movie Files or Lau's Figure Files. So much confusion. So much. It's been a wild week. Stick with me. I'll get it all together soon enough. Anyway, thank you so much as always for watching this episode of Lau's Figure Files. Has been filed.